Welcome to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblen, the host and owner of Single Tree Woodfire BBQ. We are here to build community through undeniable hospitality, storytelling, and the perfect plate of barbecue. All right, welcome back to Single Tree Nation. I'm your man, Charlie Eblen. I got my buddy, my friend, my pal, Derry Wells with me today again, our illustrious co-host, the man, the myth, the legend. How are you today, Derry?
I'm good, brother. How are you?
Man, if I was any better, I'd be twins.
That's right.
You know, doesn't get much better than that. So how's the 75 hard going?
Oh, it's going great. I lost 7 pounds last week.
Nice.
Which is a nice number to see. And I feel good. I got a lot of energy right now. I literally just came from the gym, so I kind of got that after gym buzz going right now.
Yeah.
We'll see how long it, I may be on a clock, but yeah, right? I've got it going. So no, but it's going great. It's going great. So
I love it.
I've enjoyed it.
I love it. How much longer you got? How many days have you done?
I've done, it's day 38. So
day 38.
A little less than 37 days, 36 days, something like that. Yeah.
So at what point, just out of my curiosity, at what point do you go, it's not like it stops being a thought?
Sometimes I still fight that. Sometimes I will wake up and whether it's the alarm went off and I was not ready for 5 a.m. or it's a whatever. And I think that's the thing for me personally about it is just knowing that it's the discipline of it has to be done. And so I've set for myself some goals, hopefully, that over the course of this year, because 75 hard is just 75 days. So I'm going to do that. And then, but I've got a goal. I want to walk a mile every day this year. And not miss a day at all. And that's the goal. And so to try to just these long-term kind of.
Is that about a daily discipline or is that about 365 miles?
No, that's about a daily discipline. Okay. That's about doing that little thing. Yep. And don't skip it. Don't because we could talk ourselves out of something real fast. Man, and I mean, we all do. Yeah. And I just, for me, I set that out right around Christmas. It's like, I'm doing that this year. So, and we're doing it this year. So
I love it, man.
It feels good.
I love it. I love it. I am not doing 75 hard. I'm not. I probably should, but I'm not currently doing it.
Right.
So I'm going to live through your journey of this 75 days.
There you go.
And then maybe we do it together later.
I think it'd be hard to run a restaurant and do 75, because you have to dial in on a diet. Like I'm doing 1,700, 1,800 calories a day, max. I mean, I feel like you could get that just sampling food to make sure it tastes right coming out of the smoker. So,
that's before we open.
Right. I mean, and I don't, I know every single thing that I'm doing. So but it leads to the result that I'm wanting. That's what I'm after. And I'm excited.
But if it was easy, everybody would do it.
Exactly right.
So I'm a part of a group that meets every Wednesday and Friday. We started on Clubhouse. We're now on LinkedIn. It's ran by a gentleman by the name of Sean Walchef. And it's a digital hospitality group. We meet every Wednesday, every Friday at noon. Excuse me. Go live. We talk about whatever the topics were. Out of that, so I talk to a lot of these people on a regular basis. A comment got brought up to me today about podcasting, and it really kind of struck me, right? And I don't think we have really discussed where I'm going with this in a second, but we went into what are the top podcast shows today. So do you know what the top podcast shows are?
Like America, globally, just in general?
So I got on Spotify.
I could take a stab at, I don't know, 2 or 3 of them. I'd probably miss wildly, but
the #1 show on Spotify right now?
Joe Rogan.
Yeah,
that one's easy.
That was pretty simple.
Yeah.
Do you know what #2 is?
I hope I've heard of it.
We talked about him last week.
Yep. Interesting.
Yeah.
Andy Frisella?
Nope.
No?
Nope, not even in the top 5.
Okay.
Okay. It's New Heights, the Kelsey brothers.
Yeah. Okay.
That's number 2.
Makes sense, especially with where they're at. I mean,
yep. Yeah. I
public
wonder
figure right now.
I wonder if their show, like what I'm wondering really about them is their show that good? Not, and I'm not bashing them when I say this,
Sure.
so don't give me hate. Please don't give me the hate. Or is it the fame of the Super Bowl and Taylor Swift and all the things,
Just the
right?
name that's out there, right?
And the name right
Right.
now. Like, is it a not a glitch? Is it a blimp?
Flash in
right?
the pan.
A flash,
Yeah.
right? Okay, these guys are great. We love them. Let's go listen to their show, or what? The next one hit me pretty hard. Tucker Carlson is number 3.
I would have guessed that, except I didn't know he had a podcast. I thought he was just doing his thing on X.
Well,
So,
not that I.
by the way, he's ruffled all the feathers. You know where he's at currently, don't you?
No.
He is interviewing Putin in Russia. And Tucker Carlson has ruffled all the feathers because he's like, yeah, watch, we'll just air it and see what happens. Like, I saw a little, I saw a blip on today. I was like, oh, he's trying to throw the curveball. So,
Well, hopefully he comes back.
gosh, man. So anyway, go ahead.
Ooh. Tucker, I don't know if I'd do that. Just saying. That's a big one. Number 4 is Theo Vaughn.
I see that.
I can see that
I
one.
completely see that.
Like some of his monologues
He's got some
are
wild
just
stuff,
like,
man.
just like what? But it's like he's not wrong.
He's not. No, he's not wrong.
It's just
No.
like what? Yeah.
A lot of times he's the one saying what we're all thinking. He's just like, throw it out there. Who cares? You know.
Yeah, but
So-
it's not even like for me, it's not even what he says. It's the verbs that he uses in his sentence.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah, and his cadence is great.
It's
so
it's
different.
perfect.
Yes.
It's perfect.
Yep.
With the mullet and his cadence
Right.
and just like his whole look.
Yeah.
Like it's
he's nailed it.
Yeah.
His
I mean,
publicist did a good job.
oh,
Yeah.
they're killing it. Yeah. I need that PR firm. I just can't afford it. And then the last one was, I had never heard of it, but it's the Herberman Lab. Huberman. Okay, see, that's I didn't even spell it right. It's a neuroscience podcast.
Okay.
Behavioral stuff.
Wow.
So all of that. So what? I don't really care.
Right.
Right. But all of that it got me thinking about, I wanted to start this show for a certain reason. Last year when we got going, the whole thing, I thought it would be really cool to interview people and it's fun and we'll interview more people and all that's coming. But, I think the thesis of our show is kind of not taking a left, but it's kind of, bounced in a little bit of a different direction.
Sure.
Right. So we haven't discussed this at all.
No,
So my question to you is, what is your thoughts on what does the show mean to you? What do you want to get out of the show? If we were to say fast forward 5 years from now,
Sure.
10 years from now, whatever, 20, what is Single Tree Nation to you?
I think when you first say it and just blank it out, my first thought comes back to community and being something that now I would love to reach beyond Murfreesboro, obviously, but you think about the Middle Tennessee area, being able to draw people in, being able to give people just a respite from the day and all the junk and keep it lighthearted. You know what I'm saying? I mean, there's so much going on out there in this world today. And, and I have just, some days it's just overwhelming, not in the sense of making me stressed or it's just like, it's like I'm drinking from a fire hose and I don't want that much info. Right.
Amen.
And so the podcast I listen to, and what's funny is none of those 5 are podcasts that I listen to. They give me a chance to either stay informed, reestablish some norms for myself, and hopefully learning and growing. And I think that one thing that gets lost in a lot of what people do is that learning and growing angle and aspect. They think, well, you're having fun, so you didn't learn or grow. Well, no, I disagree. I think a lot of times that's when you can grow the most because you didn't get so bogged down in the, I got to get here for this.
We say that about my son all the time. When my middle child, little Charlie, when he goes and he's playing baseball and it's serious time.
Yeah.
You know, like
you turn it on.
No, it's the opposite.
Oh,
the absolute opposite. Okay, hey, 2 outs, 3-2, bottom of the 9th.
Right.
If I don't get a hit, we lose every time. Every time.
Does he just stay loose? Is he just
if he is not in his mind and he's just having fun, I don't care what inning it is. I don't care how many pitches he's got, what he's got to do. It happens. Every time.
That's when he's being the athlete, not thinking about it.
Yep.
He's just letting his body and his mind.
He's just doing what he does.
That's it.
And he's having fun.
Yeah.
He's being himself.
I think a lot of folks do that.
Yep.
When we get so here it is, we wind up distracting ourselves with the stress.
It's crazy.
And when we just react because we've trained for it or we've planned for it or we know what's coming because we've been down this road before and we just do, you rarely stumble then. Like you just right on through it.
Just roll right through it.
Yeah.
Yeah. It's good.
I think that's a lot of folks, they just get in their heads. They're getting their heads.
Yeah.
So
all right. So today we did not discuss topics ahead of time.
I didn't.
And I think it was kind of a planned accident.
It was very intentional by me.
Yeah.
I didn't,
that's what
text
I
you
mean.
at all this week.
That's what I mean. Planned accident.
Planned accident.
Yeah. I got busy and you did it on purpose.
I did.
So,
I did.
With that, you have the floor for the show.
Cool.
Yeah. So I'll be quiet for a second.
No, my very first episode on here, you had an exit question.
Yeah.
And so first of all, we're doing a single tree Q&A.
Okay.
It's either about Mr. Eblen here, or it's about the business or whatever ebb and flow of that it works. But you asked me my very first time on, what's your walkout song? And I knew mine, and it was Killing in the Name by, God, their name just flooded out of my mind. Got Rage Against the Machine. Gosh. Killing in the Name by Rage Against the Machine. All right. Mom, if you're listening, do not go listen to that song. I helped my mom download Spotify yesterday so she can listen to this. And so now I'm worried she's going to look at stuff on Spotify.
Don't listen to that song.
That's
Mom.
right.
Don't.
What is your walkout song?
All right. You know what's funny is you actually gave me the song.
Oh, did I?
You did.
Look at me influencing you.
I'm trying to make sure I get his name right, but I have a couple of them. So, probably Drake White, 50 Years Too Late.
Okay.
If you don't know it, I'll give you a taste.
Hey, okay. I've heard 10 seconds of this. It makes me think of you. I can see you walking in to the building and be like, all right, Charlie has arrived. Man, you said it.
Okay, so that's that. But the one of my favorite songs of all time, and you're the one that gave it to me, was Cody Johnson Driveway.
Isn't it good?
It every time I think of that song, I think about pulling down my grandfather's driveway.
I can see my grandmother's front porch. Like you could about bring a tear to my eye right now.
Yeah.
I can see the 4 white columns, the red brick. The porch went almost the full length of the house. Yeah, the driveway was right in the center of the property, and I can see it. I can see it right. Oh, I'm getting goosebumps. Like it just it absolutely.
Oh yeah.
It's beautiful.
Yeah, it's funny. In that song, it talks about fishing. It talks about farm. It talks about the driveway. It talks about the fence. It talks about all of those things, and like it brings back so many memories. Like there's a memory that I have vivid as today. of me and my grandfather going fishing. And he had, it's probably an 1.5 acre, 2 acre pond on the backside of the farm. We did all of our chores for that day, whatever. And I bugged him all day. Hey, let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. Let's go fishing. We'll go. Okay. And we got up there and we're fishing and I walk around the whole pond as I'm fishing. And I get completely on the other side of the pond. Okay. And my grandfather catches what was probably smaller than my cell phone of a fish.
Right.
And as he's bringing it in, he falls off of the bank into the pond.
No.
And can't get out of it. Now you got to understand that my grandfather at the time we said he was 5'6", but he was probably 5'2" or 3". But he was just,
you gotta be generous. His family.
He was just as big around as he was tall.
Oh man.
So he's a good 275, 280.
Right.
And I was probably 12, 13 years old. And I had to sprint because my grandmother was flipping out because he couldn't get out of the pond.
Gosh.
He had one too many Jim Beams and Cokes.
Sure.
And couldn't get out of it.
I think that cold pond water though kind of bring you back. So
well, I got a few choice words of why I couldn't get me out of this pond. But that every time I listen to that song, that memory pops into my head.
Yeah.
So it's funny. It's on a playlist at the restaurant.
Yeah.
It's on I listen to it in the gym.
It's great.
There's not a time that I don't listen to that song.
That's great.
Yeah.
That is awesome, man. Well done on that. All right. You hit the first question out of the park. All right. Second question. You have a fairly extensive background in restaurant. Mm-hmm. You could have picked any food you wanted. Why barbecue?
Honestly, I think it's the hardest.
Oh, okay.
Cooking barbecue takes patience. It doesn't take thermometers. They
do help. Just for anybody starting, thermometers help. Well, for those of us that don't have the touch yet, thermometers help. Okay, just FYI.
So here's the thing with barbecue. To me, they give you guidelines.
Sure.
Right. So I can write down right now. I mean, I can take your pen and write down how I cook a brisket. Mm-hmm. And then you can leave today and go home and trim exactly how the paper tells you to, and get your smoker going exactly how the paper tells you to, and cook it to the temperature exactly where the paper tells you. The problem with that is if I tell you, hey, your brisket needs to be 165 degrees before you wrap it, and at 165 degrees, you're like, okay, it's time to wrap. It may not be time to wrap.
Right.
If I tell you, okay, hey, the brisket's going to be done at 201 degrees, well, it may have been done at 186.
Right. Right.
So now you got a really overcooked piece of meat.
Right.
Right. Or it may not be done until it's 210. A day like today where it was 65 and sunny and nice out, and humidity wasn't bad, but it wasn't really low.
Right.
You may not need a water pan.
Right. Right.
A couple of weeks ago when it was I think it was -7 or 8 degrees. And
I thought about you during that time because I've tried to cook in that before.
It sucks.
I had to set up a piece of plywood, just try to block some of the wind because it took all the heat off my smoker. Now, my smoker's tiny. I mean, let's not, we're not winning any awards with this thing, but I love it. I'm used to it. It's what I get the results that I want off of, right?
Yeah, it's great.
But I've wondered about that when it was that cold, because I woke up one morning and it was my phone said -1. And I thought, how do you cook in this? Like outdoors? Because your smoker's outdoors.
So I will tell you, I got to the restaurant and I pulled up, and literally I said in to myself, because nobody else was there, and it's cold as crap outside.
Right.
I said, well, let's go do this. Like, I mean, I had to tell myself to
Right.
go do it because I knew. And I had a t-shirt, a sweatshirt, no, a t-shirt, a long sleeve shirt, a sweatshirt, a vest, and a jacket. My toboggan, sweatshirt, hoodie over top, jeans, you know, the whole boots, the whole deal. And
you're outside playing with a smoker.
And I had my gloves in my pocket, and I went and unlocked the restaurant, got all the meat out, and got it all trimmed, ready to go. And I go back outside to get the smoker started. Left my gloves inside.
Oh.
So now we're not out there with a match and a little tumbleweed. I got a big blowtorch that will start to fire a little bit.
There's nothing
quicker.
wrong with a matching tumbleweed because that's how I start all mine.
Not at all. No, there's nothing wrong with
I was just making sure, like, so.
No, but I'm using full size logs.
True, that's true. Yeah, you're right.
Right.
You're right.
So for me if I used a tumbleweed, it's going to take an hour plus to get the fire going. So I need to. I got to build. You
got to build a fire.
I got to build a fire.
Right.
And with it being, my phone at the time said 1 degree. Okay. And I just thought, why the hell not? I'll go live on TikTok. So I went live. So I went live on TikTok as I'm freezing, and I'm holding. I had to get off of it because I'm holding the blowtorch with one hand and my other hand's in my pocket because I left my gloves inside.
Right.
And my fingers were going numb within a minute, and I was having to switch hands. So, long story short, everybody wants to be a pitmaster until it's time to do pitmaster things.
Somebody buy Charlie a tripod for his phone so he doesn't have to use both hands to record. Like, that's how it works.
I got one.
Okay.
Yeah.
Left inside with the gloves.
Yeah, well, there's a reason why I cook barbecue.
There you
I'm not
are.
a rocket scientist.
That's it.
You know what I mean?
All right. This is directly related to business. All
Okay.
right, to the business of running the business.
Yep.
What are you looking for in an employee with such a small window to interview them? You get maybe 10, 15 minutes. I mean, they're in and they're out. It's a different kind of world. You may only have 10 or 15 minutes because you don't sit all day lined up with interviews.
Mm-hmm.
What are you looking for when they're sitting across the table from you and you're getting that opportunity to judge, here comes someone not only into my business, but into my livelihood who's going to affect what my product does? What are you looking for in that person?
So it's funny you ask that question because before I started this, I wouldn't have told you what I'm about to tell you.
All right.
In my corporate world of 25 plus years, 26 years, something like that, I would have said I was looking for experience, skill set, reliable transportation. Can they come to work on time? What do they look like? Right? Do they have purple hair?
Right.
Are they dressed nice for the interview? Do they look like they want a job?
Right.
Now my opinion is really drastically changed. I primarily hire off of personality. Do they smile? Do they look at me when they're talking to me? Not look me in the eye, but do they look up?
Right. Right.
It's more about culture than anything else. I still make the wrong decisions. Don't get me wrong.
Well, you show me an entrepreneur that bats 1,000.
Yeah,
I think you'd be hard. Yeah, right. Yeah. I mean,
it's kind of like baseball, right?
Right.
So,
batting 250 is good in baseball.
Yeah.
That means for every 10 times you go to bat, you hit the ball 2.5 times. Like,
right. Yeah, you're doing pretty good.
You're doing pretty good.
Yeah. It's one of the biggest things that I try to do now is I try to find somebody that fits the team.
There you go.
Not me, because I don't have anything to do with it. They're not going to work side by side with me every day. Although I would love to be able to train every single person.
Sure.
But you can't, right? So, do they fit the team? That's really the biggest thing. If they can fit the team and they want to be there, I probably got somebody good.
There you go. Excellent.
Yeah.
What's the most joyful aspect of being Single Tree Nation, whether it's the podcast, the restaurant, the boss who's got great employees, the food that's getting recognized on multiple media outlets. What is the most joyful aspect of being Single Tree?
I would probably say, if I actually sit down and think about the impact that we've made in the community, the lives that we've changed, right? The people that look at life differently, that are trying to help others. We, as a business owner, I get to wake up every day and have the ability to make an impact in somebody's life, good, bad, or indifferent. I have that ability.
And when you say that, I think it's important to remember it's not just the customer that you may interact with. You've got the opportunity to impact somebody's life as one of your team members. It may be a vendor who was needing that next order because they weren't real sure, how they may have kept the doors open, or that relationship that gets established with the guy from the community who walks in and he didn't realize until whenever. And
I will tell you, I'll tell you what people don't realize. And this is something that's very difficult for me, and I'm going to be very vulnerable right now, so forgive me.
No, that's the point of Single Tree Q&A. So
the biggest impact that nobody understands is the impact on my family, the impact on my wife, the impact on my kids, the impact on my own well-being. I don't have the option to burn out.
Right.
I don't have the option to not wake up and go 1,000% that day. The impact of that on my wife and my kids and my family is unbelievable.
Sure.
They don't see daddy break. They never will. My wife has seen me cry once in the 14 plus years we've been together, because that's not who I am.
Right.
Right. It's not the way I was raised. Not saying it's wrong if you do.
Right.
It's just not who I am.
I'm a crier.
Right. I am.
Yeah.
Nobody sees it.
Right. My mother told me one time that my brother used to cry as a early 20s. Aaron, I'm sorry. Please do not hate me if I just outed you on something. I did not believe her. I've seen my brother cry one time.
Yeah.
And I'm over 40 years old.
Mm-hmm.
I've seen him cry one time in my life. And she's like, no, he's got those feelings down in there. And I said, who are you talking about? Right. So I understand when you say I am a crier, but nobody sees it.
Yeah.
Sometimes, and this is going to be that left-hand turn we're going to take here. I think sometimes what people don't understand about being a man, being male, being in your position, you're a provider for your family. You are an entrepreneur. You're running a business who happens to be a restaurateur, which I think is probably one of the most cutthroat ones there is out there. And from the outside looking in.
Amen.
And men don't get that opportunity to just, unless we're with other men. Unless we get somebody that understands, or we're in our little, and I'm sure you've done this. You pull up to the house, you cut the truck off, and there's just that 3-minute window where you can let it out before you go in. Because when you go in, you got to be back on, right? And that's, I get that. But the impact
tough
on your family. So
it's tough. And that's where it's something that, thank the Lord that I have such an amazing wife. Because I will tell y'all, for especially my fans that love our restaurant and love this show and love hearing us talk about whatever we talk about every week. If it wasn't for her, I wouldn't be here. Sure. I mean, there's no ifs, ands, or buts about it.
Hey, Little Man makes a mean lemonade. I had some of that over the summer.
Yeah. Charlie does pretty good.
That was a good day.
We're trying to get him to get a little bit more entrepreneurial in his own spirit.
There you go.
Hats off to the wife and the kids. They keep us going in the right direction.
There you go. All right. What keeps you awake at night? And I'm going to make that twofold. The logic in me says it's restaurant related. But give me a non-restaurant related. What keeps you awake at night? And then if there is one that kind of is just pressing there, what keeps you awake at night?
I'll give you the restaurant one first because it's a quick and easy one.
Sure.
But I don't think it's restaurant related. I think it's business related.
Okay.
The number one goal for any business is to stay in business. It's the number one goal.
Right.
Right. So how well the business is running, what you can do to do more, to be better, make a bigger impact, make more profit, sales, whatever. That's always going to keep a business entrepreneur up. The biggest thing that keeps me up, and it has for quite a while, and I think it was even before I did own my own business. One worded, it's legacy. The other side of it is my wife and kids proud of me.
Quick side note for anybody listening. If you understood how much men want and need somebody to be proud of them.
Yeah. It's
I think that is I'm not a guru, but I've talked to enough guys who I just need somebody to be in my corner. You don't have to do anything.
Right.
Just be in my corner.
Right.
Just man. So yeah, I think a lot of people are going to get that, but some people don't know that men just need that person to be proud of them.
There's a lot of things. There's a lot of people, a lot of things in my life that are important.
Sure.
Right. But I feel like 50 years from now, when I got great grandkids, do they look up to me? And is my wife and kids proud of what we've built? Proud of the legacy that we're leaving behind? Mm. I can tell you that as a kid, when I looked up to my dad, when I looked up to my grandfather, I always said, and I say today, if I could be half the man that those men were, I did all right.
You did all right.
You know, if my kids can grow up and go, man, if I'm half the man my dad was, mm-hmm. then I did my job. Right. If my wife is proud of me, bro, I'm
that's a real good day.
That's a good day. That's a real good day.
That's a real good day. Okay, I'm going to switch gears here a little bit. What is your take on determination? Man, I'm not going to give up. Like, it's got to happen. Versus discipline, which we mentioned at the very beginning. So I'm kind of glad you mm-hmm. unknowingly segued us in that. But determination versus discipline. Like, I'm not going to stop versus I got to do this today. So it's give me the quick Charlie rundown.
I feel like you have spent some time this week doing some research.
Man,
that's what I feel. So I don't know if you can see it or not, but I got a tattoo on my chest.
Yeah.
Okay. Can you tell what it is?
It's a lion, which, hang on, I could see two blue eyes from a lion, and it has a navigational star of some sort.
Yep.
Weirdness, and I don't know if I can show. I also have a lion with blue eyes. What are the odds of this, man? Anyway, go ahead.
Okay, so encompassed, and I don't know if you can see it, but encompassed, there's some words.
Okay.
In this whole tattoo, and the words make up an acronym called FEED.
Okay.
And it's focus, effort, enthusiasm, and discipline. That's the acronym. And I came up with that probably 10 years ago, maybe.
Okay.
I think determination is great, but there's all kinds of different, you can call it effort.
Right.
You can call it enthusiasm. For me, I think if you're going to accomplish anything, you have to have the four things that I just said. You got to focus on what you're going after, right? There has to be a laser focus.
Sure.
You're not going to hit a bullseye with a shotgun.
Doggone right.
You're just not going to.
Yeah.
Right. You might get lucky.
Yeah.
One of them BBs might get there.
Right.
If you don't put any effort and enthusiasm into what you're trying to accomplish, then you'll never get there.
Right.
And there are things that you have to be disciplined to do to accomplish those goals. You're a prime example of one of them. You're doing 75 hard right now. It is a discipline to get your ass up in the morning and work out early. It's a discipline. You got to drink a gallon of water?
Gallon of water.
To drink a gallon of water. To read one chapter?
10 pages.
10 pages.
Mm-hmm.
It's a discipline to work out again when you get done with your day.
Right.
Right. All of those things. It's a discipline to change your diet. It's a discipline. It's a discipline for us to be here every week.
Right.
Right. It's a discipline for me to go to the gym. It's a discipline for me to do whatever I do during the day.
You ever heard Mike Tyson's definition of discipline?
Doing the things that you hate doing like you love them.
Man, it drives it home for me
every day,
single
every
time.
Yeah, I love that quote. It's one of those things that imagine if you could do everything that way.
Right. If you could do everything that way. I know I don't want to run us off here, but I know we got a couple more things to get to before we run out of time. What topic has kept you interested lately? Like, what thing you just kind of following? What are you into? What is like, man, this is cool that, man, and if I had a little more time, I'd do it. What topic or what thing has kept you interested lately?
Really, health has kind of been a big one for me recently. I've always been kind of a workout guy, especially in my adult life. And over the last 10, 15 years, it's really been even more so. So kind of learning more about, for me, it's not about going, I know how to work out. Like I've done it enough in my life and watched enough and read enough to know like what exercises to do and how often I need to go and what I should eat and all the things. Right. But it's more now it's turned into, well, how do I recover?
Yeah.
Better.
Right.
To be able to work out harder tomorrow. And now that I'm in my 40s, it's even more
It's different.
Yeah. You know, like, I mean, I absolutely crushed my chest the other day. And I'm still paying for it.
It was leg day for me. And I added some stuff to my leg day, and I got home, and I was like, I'm going to pay for this tomorrow. Now, keep in mind, this was not a first leg day. This was like 8th, 9th one, right?
Yeah.
And I got up, I think it was Sunday morning, and I was like, oh, my goodness, this is going to be a tough day. And saying that, you know that thing, the gym high?
Yeah.
I'm just now, and I've been working out since I was in high school off and on at various points in my life. I'm just now to a point where like that fit, like I want to go. Like I want that 45 minutes of just like moving something, whatever. And, but adding those different, like you said, I think so oftentimes we get the knowledge. We know what to do. Am I applying it and am I doing it? Don't get lost in the info and just go do.
Discipline.
And discipline. Listen at him. All right. Who is someone you respect or admire highly? In quotation marks, I put hero, but I didn't want to make it that generic. I'm going disclaimer on you though. Can't be family related. Because I knew where you were going to go with it, and I'm cheating there. Yeah. Non-family related, someone that you highly respect or admire.
And there's a lot of them. You know, I don't think I can give just one, quite honestly.
Sure.
From a non-family's really, really hard because there's so many for different reasons.
Right.
You know, I highly respect and admire you and what you do every day. There's Anthony Whitehead is a Murfreesboro police officer who I highly respect and admire what he does every day. You know, so it's difficult. You know, Troy Hooper, Sean Walsheff that are in the restaurant space. They're amazing leaders and business people. I respect and admire what they do. So outside of family, it's very, very difficult for me to narrow it down to one.
I know your story about the song Driveway. That automatically, that's why I put that disclaimer on there.
Yeah.
Grandpa was going to be up there somewhere.
Oh, yeah.
I knew it. All right, I'm going to wrap us up with today's Friday Feel Good.
Oh,
You
man,
good?
I'm excited.
I think too often times that we forget how powerful the little step is. So what I've got for us today is don't discount the power of a little step or little progress towards big things. And I got to thinking about my mile a day, right? If you walk a mile a day, okay, it doesn't seem like much. Most people can do it in less than 20 minutes. That is 365 miles a year. And if you break that down, you have ran just under 14 marathons. And when I put one foot in front of the other, which we all are going to, am I doing it with the focus and attention of making progress, or am I just slacking? So your Friday Feel Good, don't discount the power of little steps towards big things and progress. So,
And that is outstanding. That brings it full circle.
it did.
Because
Hey, I told you I thought I have a good one today.
my goal from the beginning question of what is the goal of our show is I want to impact one life today.
I think we will.
So if we can do that 1 week a year, impact one person, that's 52 more people every year. So in 10 years from now, we will have the most impactful podcast show in the world.
I love it. Absolutely love it.
With that, guys, we thank you. We appreciate you.
Hey, thank you for being part of the Single Tree Nation podcast today and being part of our Q&A. All right. You're never on this end of it, so I had to take an
I
opportunity.
appreciate it very much. It was great. I loved it. If you guys want to help us get involved, be a sponsor, all of the things, please reach out to me at Charlie, Charlie, at singletreebbq.com. Feel free to give us a call at 615-307-0120. And as always, make sure you like, share, and subscribe, and tell your buddies about us. And until next time, we'll see you then.
That'll be good.
Thanks for joining us today. Make sure you like, share, and subscribe to the channel. And as always, leave us a 5-star review and come see us at the restaurant.